Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on a Saturday morning. The sun is shining and Arsenal are back tomorrow playing in the Premier League. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, judging on the last two results, but hopefully it's a good thing and Arsenal can get themselves back on track with a much needed 3 points against a very, very decent Leeds side who should provide one stern test at the Emirates tomorrow. Should be an exciting game, expecting to see goals. Although saying that, it was 0-0 last time the two sides met. Although it was a decent game on that occasion, Leeds certainly the better of the two sides. Arsenal playing with 10 men for an awful lot of time after Nicolas Pepe being sent off. But the key thing in that, Arsenal still had opportunities even at 10 men, and Leeds are always going to give you that. So I think if Arsenal manage to keep things tight tomorrow, maybe ride out a little bit of a storm, which I'm sure is going to come early on from Leeds, and then we'll grow into the game and certainly get opportunities to go on and get the win that they need. So I'll talk about that game a little bit in this video, do my predicted 11 at the end, but just a few things I wanted to discuss today, maybe some of it ahead of that match actually, some of the big decisions Mikel Arteta has to face. Certainly got a couple of them going into it. Also talk a little bit more about Thomas Partey, some more quotes, new quotes from Mikel Arteta on Partey and his injury, a little bit on Dani Ceballos and more as well. So let's just quickly start in terms of the goalkeeper position. Obviously last weekend against Aston Villa, Matt Ryan played, Bernd Leno was suspended. Leno is available now, and I think we all know who's going to play in goal. Mikel was asked about it. Has he got a tough decision to make given Matt Ryan's performance at the weekend? And he said, I think Matt played a really good game, and for the first game he played for us after so little training, he was really good. I really like the way he reacted, because conceding that goal on your debut so early and still reacting the way he did showed a lot of character from him. That is why we brought him here, because he has to be an option and he has to keep pushing Burns. So nice words for Matt Ryan from Mikel Arteta then, but I think we all know who's going to go in goal against Leeds. I'd be very, very surprised if Bernd Leno isn't straight back into the starting 11. Matt Ryan very much number 2 at Arsenal now, but he did himself no harm in terms of earning himself a permanent move in the summer, if he wants one, that is. Because I imagine he wants to play football because he still wants to be involved for Australia. So whether he actually wants to stick around and be a sort of permanent number 2 for a couple of seasons, I don't know. But he's certainly the sort of keeper that you'd look at Arsenal getting to provide competition for Burn and to come in and do a decent job should Leno get himself injured or suspended again next season. In terms of Leeds, well, Mikel is certainly expecting a very difficult game against Leeds. He knows only too well the sort of threat that they can provide and the type of football that Bielsa plays. He's a very big Bielsa fan. He said he's not as much of a disciple of Bielsa as Pepe is, but he still, absolutely respects all the work that he's done and loves the sort of methods that he uses and the new way of thinking he's brought to football wherever he's managed. He says on Leeds, they are really brave, dynamic and attacking side. I think they are really exciting. A great coach, great coaching staff who are all involved, and a bunch of players who believe 100% in what they do and go into every game with the same energy and enthusiasm to get points. I think they deserve more than they have in the table at the moment. So Arsenal are going into this ahead of Leeds in the league table. I think Leeds could jump above them if they win, though I think Leeds have got a game in hand as well. Surprising to see Leeds quite far down, actually. I think that's the problem with them, is that they still concede a lot of goals. They play this excellent football, and they do, but they concede a lot of goals. We've seen them get hammered in certain games this season. Conceded 4 at Anfield, conceded 6, I think it was, at Liverpool. They conceded 3, was it, at Spurs? So they can be got at. You can get at Leeds, you can score goals, you can open them up. You've just got to make sure you ride out the little bit of a storm that always comes when you play Leeds, because they always throw men forward. They press so hard, they've got so much energy. Try and win the ball back as high as possible, and you just got to deal with that. Keep it tight, make very few mistakes, and if you can beat the press, then you've certainly got your opportunities to score. So that's what Arsenal are going to have to do tomorrow. Real shame that they're not going to have Thomas Partey involved. Obviously, we spoke about him yesterday, and I think Thomas is going to be a big miss, because he'd be a big miss in any game, but especially against a side like Leeds. I think you'd really want Thomas Partey there in that heart midfield, protecting the back four. I think one of the big decisions Mikel's got to make is about Nicolas Pepe. Again, he had one last week against Villa, and he admitted afterwards it was a really difficult decision in terms of who started, Aubameyang or Pepe. He went with Pepe. Not Pepe's best performance against Villa. Chose the wrong option a few times. His touch let him down a couple of times. I thought there was one when he moved over to the right towards the end when Odegaard played him through, and again, his touch let him down. The chance was gone, and probably not quite as dynamic as he had been in the last 2 games. But he was still a danger. He was still a threat. And I think with Pepe, he is in decent form. You don't want to suddenly kill that confidence and leave him out the side. But I know that Arteta is going to want to get Aubameyang back in the team as quickly as possible. So it's going to be a big decision for him this weekend against Leeds, who plays on the left-hand side. Obviously, you could play Aubameyang as a central striker and place a Lacazette, and then you could play Pepe as well. I don't think he'll do that. I think it's a lot more likely it'll just be either Pepe or Aubameyang on the left. Speaking about Pepe, he's ahead of the game. He said, what can we, we've seen some really good performances from Pepe. What can we expect from him now? What more can he bring? And he says, he needs to maintain the level for months, not weeks. I think he's done much, much better. I think there has been a click with him, even in his mentality, how he's approaching every training session, the importance of every action in the game, and how he can sustain his focus and his determination during games. I really like his attitude, what he's done in the last few weeks, and I think it's been much better. He still has a lot to learn, a lot of room to improve and grow, and he's willing to do that, so I'm expecting him to go to the next level very soon. So nice words from Mikel on Pepe then. And I think we all want to see that. We all want to see Pepe going from the player who provides the flashes of quality to a player who does it week in, week out. And is a constant threat during games, constant thorn in the opposition side, and he's got the quality to do that. There's absolutely no doubt, because we've seen it. We've seen what he can do when he's playing well. It's just about maintaining that level. And if you want to play for a big club like Arsenal, you've got to maintain that level regularly. You've got to look at what Bukayo Saka's doing on the other side. A player, five years younger, only just breaking through, and yet he's doing it week in, week out. No matter where he plays, he maintains the same level, and that's what Nicolas Pepe needs to do, because he's got the talent. As I said, there's no doubt about it. He can do what Bukayo does. He's shown it before. It's just about doing it on a regular basis and keeping that consistency for 90 minutes and then doing it week in, week out. So it'll be interesting to see what Mikel goes for on the left-hand side. Do you go with Aubameyang or do you go with Pepe? What do you think? Who do you think should start out of those two on tomorrow? Would you go with Pepe or would you go with Aubameyang? Let me know in the comments below and I'll read them, see what you all think personally, and I'll get to my predicted level 11 at the end. Having just said what I have about Pepe, I've got a sneaky feeling we might see Aubameyang start. But that's just my opinion. That's nothing to do with any information I've got or anything like that. I just wouldn't be surprised to see Aubameyang come in for this one and Pepe end up on the bench. But let me know what you guys think. I think, although I said personally I think Aubameyang will start, I would go with Pepe in this one, because I don't think Aubameyang's shown anything since he's come on in the last 2 games against Wolves and Villa to suggest that he's going to offer too much at the moment. He's not clearly lacking a little bit after that break, so I'd stick with Pepe. I think you could damage his confidence a bit too much if you took him out now after a few good performances, so I think you stick with Pepe. You leave Auba on the bench, and if you need to, you bring Auba on in the second half, potentially as a striker or on the left hand side. But for me, I'd go with Pepe on the left and Saka once again on the right. A little bit more on Thomas Partey, some new quotes from Mikel that went live sort of 10:30 last night. He spoke to us after the main part of the press conference finished. As always, which you guys don't see, there's then the embargo section, which is for the sort of newspapers, and the quotes are held till 10:30 on a Saturday or a Friday night, 10:30 on a Saturday night. And he was asked more on Thomas Partey that has now come out last night about 10:30, and he said, look, hopefully we can still see Thomas back playing at the level he can do. Last time, the second injury, we gave him more time to recover. He came back in good shape, but he wasn't fit enough to sustain that for 90 minutes, and that's why we kept subbing him to try and protect him. I think he's played 90 minutes only once since he's come back from the injury. Now again, we have to protect him, make sure he's fit and ready to come back as soon as possible, but knowing we need the player long term as well. So pretty clear that they're not going to risk Thomas Partey at the moment unless he's completely ready, because they don't want to do any long-term damage with Thomas. It's all such a frustrating situation. I know you guys are frustrated. I'm frustrated as an Arsenal fan. I'm frustrated as an Arsenal reporter. I'm frustrated because I want to see Thomas Partey on the pitch week in, week out. But you've got to think as well for next season. You just don't want to do anything that's going to totally ruin him and not end up sort of ruling out him having a pre-season in the summer and then not being ready for next season as well. So you just got to take it very, very carefully with him. As frustrating as it is right now, you've got to protect, as Mikel says, for the long term. He was asked, why do you think he's breaking down? A player who barely had any injuries in Spain. Why is he struggling so much now? And He said probably it's a mixture of things, also how much he wants to have an impact on the team. He knows how much he costs, and that adds a bit of pressure. When you're not able to play, you want to hurry up and do everything quicker and show everybody how good you are and have a big impact on the team. That creates some anxiety for sure. Then the physical aspect, when you look at the output he needs to put in when he was playing in Spain compared to now, is pretty different. So Mikel thinks there's a few things, the difference from La Liga to Premier League, and there's no doubt it is a big difference. And also kind of him rushing back a bit too soon. I think you've got to balance that out with the fact that Arsenal's doctors and club medical staff, certainly for the first one, when he came back for Tottenham, when he clearly wasn't ready, that after only a couple of training sessions, they made a mistake with that one. Everyone made a mistake. I know that Thomas Partey was desperate to start and pushing to start and saying he was fine, but then I think you've also, as a medical staff and doctors, you've got to hold him back and make sure he absolutely is, especially for a player that important. So I understand playing him in that game against Tottenham because it was such a big game. Arsenal are in a terrible run of form at the moment. It was a North London derby. You want your best players involved, but ultimately that was a big mistake on all sides, and it's certainly cost Thomas Partey an awful lot this season, I think, because I'm pretty sure everything was stemmed from that first recovery. The first injury can happen, but I think the fact he came back when he wasn't ready, everything has sort of stemmed from that. And even this injury, I know it's a hamstring, but you've got to think there's some sort of link with the thigh there as well. So that's an error, I think, for Arsenal, and I think now I can understand why Mikel's saying, look, we have to think of the long term for Thomas Partey and make sure he's very, very fit before he comes back, and not sort of half, even 90% fit. He has to be 100. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Dani Ceballos, who I think will probably start tomorrow with Thomas Partey out. Reports in Spain at the moment, the price tag has been set for Ceballos in the summer. If Arsenal want to sign him permanently, it will cost £22 million. Real Betis also want him. Now, I'm not sure if Arsenal are going to do anything with Dani Ceballos. I haven't had any information on that yet. I think Arsenal haven't made that decision yet. I was just interested in what you guys think. 22 million, Dani Ceballos, is that a deal you would do, or would you look to spend the money elsewhere? Personally, for me, I think you move on from Dani Ceballos. I think he's been pretty decent, though he was very good at the end of last season, but I don't think he really fits into this Arsenal starting 11 when Thomas Partey's fit. I think you play Partey and Xhaka. So if you're going to spend £22 million on a player, given the financial difficulties at Arsenal and everywhere at the moment, I'm not sure you would spend it on Dani Ceballos. For me, so I would personally pass on that one and look to invest your money elsewhere rather than moving for Dani Ceballos. But please do tell me what you guys think. Would you, if that was the deal on the table and Real Madrid said to Arsenal you can have him for 22 million, would you do that or would you not? Let me know in the comments below. Right, let's go through my predicted 11, shall we, and some of the other sort of talking points ahead of tomorrow's game. Let me know if you agree or disagree with what I've gone for. But in terms of the key positions, I think you've got the centre back decision that Mikel Arteta needs to make. Now David Luiz is back from suspension. Do you bring David Luiz back into the starting 11, or do you now stick with Gabriel, who came in, played at Aston Villa? You're certainly going to go Rob Holding, you know that, because he's going to be the right-sided central defender. Then who plays on the left? Do you bring Pablo Mari in as well, who's so good with Rob Holding before he got his injury, and Mari is now back fully fit again? So who plays on that left-hand side? Luiz, Gabriel or Pablo Mari? Let me know again in the comments below what you think. So that's one of the big key areas for Mikel. Obviously, you've got the decision to make in central midfield without Thomas Partey. Do you go with Dani Ceballos or do you go with Mohamed El Neni in that one? I think that's the big decision. Or technically, you could go with Martin Odegaard and play him as a sort of number 8 and even switch your formation around a little bit, potentially. Go more of a 4-3-3 and have Xhaka on his own, and then an attacking lineup with Odegaard and Smith Rowe. I doubt it, because I think that's going to leave Arsenal too open, but it is an option. But I think he'll stick with a 4-2-3-1, and it'll be a simple swap of either Ceballos or El Neni alongside Xhaka. And then you've got Odegaard or Smith Rowe at number 10. I got a sneaky feeling we're going to see Martin Odegaard start for the first time on Sunday. Smith Rowe's looked pretty tired recently. He's played so many minutes. And I wouldn't be surprised. I thought Odegaard was very good when he came on against Aston Villa. Looked lively, should have scored, looked likely to make things happen. I think he gets his start. And then, as I said earlier on in the video, you've got the decision to make on the left-hand side between Pepe and Aubameyang. So, from what's been a very settled team recently, I think Mikel's actually got a few decisions to make ahead of tomorrow's game. It'll be really interesting to see what he goes for with the starting 11. Here's what I'm predicting. Again, this isn't information that I have. This is just me and my predicted 11. I'm going obviously Leno in goal, back 4 of Bellerin, Holding, Gabriel and Cedric. So I'm going with Gabriel rather than Luiz. My central midfield partnership, I'm going to have Xhaka and Ceballos. I'm going to have Saka on the right, Odegaard at number 10, Aubameyang on the left, and Lacazette as the striker. So that's just a predicted 11. That's what I think Mikel's going to do. That's not what I think he should do. It's what I think Mikel will do. Personally, as I said earlier, I would go for Pepe over Aubameyang, but I think he'll probably go with the captain. So just run through that one more time. My predicted 11: Leno, Bellerin, Holding, Gabriel, Cedric, Xhaka, Ceballos, Saka, Odegaard, Aubameyang, Lacazette. Right, that's about it from me. Thank you very much for watching today's video. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday wherever you're watching this around the world. And I will be back at the Emirates tomorrow. It's been a nice week off for me, but back at it tomorrow at the Emirates. I will be there. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get a warm-up video done, which I normally do, because I'm doing something for the Goal Instagram account, so please do log on to that. You'll see me doing a live broadcast on Goal before the game, reacting to the team news. But if I can, I'll try and do one on here as well if I have enough time, but if not, I'll try and do my usual post-match ratings as well. So thanks for watching, everyone. Like I said, enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.